February has been a month of extremes, beginning with another long heat wave of days over 40 degrees. The heat wave brought a lot of our usual koala visitors to get drinks of water, along with other various wildlife seeking a relief from the heat. Next we got the almost gale force winds, which made branches fall everywhere and bits of trellis break off, and really after the extreme heat, when the plants had already suffered a bit, quite successfully flattened a lot of my vegetables, which I'm still doing first aid on now. And finally we got really sustained rain to the point that things started to flood and there was water pouring down everywhere, and the trough where I'd been growing rocket and parsley along with the blueberry plant filled up to the brim and couldn't drain, and the rockets did not particularly appreciate that. But in general, the other plants around the garden were very appreciative of the deep soak. I've tried very hard over the course of February to grow sunflowers. I keep planting some bought seeds, but also some of the sunflower seeds which I collect out of the bird food, and planting them in all kinds of places around the garden. I did have success with quite a number germinating, but the seedlings as well as the seeds seem to be highly popular with our feathered friends, and perhaps with other kinds of insects and caterpillars, and they just seem to always disappear, which is something of a shame. Irises always reminded Grandma of her sister and were quite a special plant to her. And there are various kinds of iris around the yard. But some new plantings here are Christmas presents from Auntie Jane, and you can see that they are enjoying their position in the new rockery spot that we've established. There are a lot of plants in the garden here with various kinds of significance that mark occasions or are planted in remembrance of certain people. These two pittosporums, one with a much finer leaf and one with a larger variegated leaf, are here in memory of my great aunt and uncle, Max and Shirl. A smaller one to represent her, very similar but somewhat daintier than him. And I'm hoping that if I continue to trim the tops of these, that they will eventually grow into a hedge-like single bush. And this would represent the quite famous love between the two. Also in the garden is this laurel which was planted on the occasion of my graduation from honours, but it's got substantially bigger, and hope that this represents my continued learning. The golden elm is often thought of as being Grandma's tree, as she loved these particular trees with their beautiful sunshiny leaves. And the eucalypt represents Grandpa, and will hopefully one day stand tall over the garden. Rosemary throughout the yard represents remembrance of all ancestors and pets and friends, and just generally with our memories and with people and other loved animals and creatures that are no longer with us. The garden is full of life forms, both welcome and unwelcome at present. Some of the more welcome ones are the skinks and geckos, which are cute and do very little harm, that just hide amongst the rocks and creepers and dash about whenever anyone walks past. I've also seen quite a fat, stumpy looking blue tongue, but was unable to get footage of him. Unwelcome visitors include various kinds of fungal organisms which are infesting the vegetable plants, and wasps which do like to come in the hot weather for water, as well as the bees and other insects. February has seen us get through the hottest part of the year, we hope, and from here it should be all getting better over time for the garden, with more water around, but still a reasonable amount of sunlight. So we're expecting to see quite a lot of new growth and plants starting to really take off in these next few months.